As the Denver Broncos near the end of the preseason, that means their final roster cuts to get down to the 53-man roster are coming. What that means for multiple players is that this is your last chance to make the case for either the roster or the practice squad. With the roster currently sitting at 80 players, this would roughly put 11 of them out of a job after the 53-man roster and 16-man practice squad. For those 11 players, it is on them to show enough to catch on with another team if they fail to stick with the Broncos. Cornerbacks Parnell, Motley, and Nate Hairston seem to be on the cusp of making the roster with their latest game. They were the 6th and 7th corner to take the field, with Michael Ujumudia being the 5th, who is now hurt. They are not alone in pushing for those spots and still have to show up against the Rams to secure their places. The best way for them to make their case is to carry over the strong games on defense they had from the Seattle game, as well as standing out on special teams. Another defensive back with a lot on the line is rookie 5th-round pick Jamar Johnson after a late start to training camp. He followed up his late start with a couple bad games, showing his poor tackling ability, putting a roster spot in jeopardy because his draft status isn't enough to protect him. After an awful Seattle game, Curtis Robinson has managed to show the coaches something to stick with the team. With the team cutting Josh Watson, there is a chance for Robinson as a special teams player if the team keeps 5 linebackers. Andre Mintz is also in a bad position after a concussion against the Vikings and missing the second preseason game. He was making a strong push for the roster, but he is the 5th guy at edge and his spot may be gone due to the numbers game. 3 receivers are also at risk in Tyrie Cleveland, Kendall Hinton, and return specialist Diontae Spencer. Hinton had some strong practices, but he has not looked good in games, suggesting the practice squad is more likely a landing spot for him. Cleveland and Spencer are tricky because they are key players on special teams, but both have their issues on offense. Cleveland can do multiple things on special teams, but has been plagued by drops when catching the ball. Then with Spencer, you have a solid returner, though high variance, that he has yet to find a way to be a weapon on offense consistently. Denver may have room for only one more receiver with what Trinity Benson has shown and being seemingly set to make the roster. Denver has got to get down to their initial 53-man roster by August 31st, but there will be some moves after that with possible signings and waiver claims. If these 8 players want to last, they have to leave it all out there on the field and show enough for Denver to stick around or even catch on elsewhere. For Mile High Huddle, I'm Eric Trickle.